Have you ever wondered how someone became so successful in growing their practice? In today's podcast, Kathleen Vigo, a physical therapist and owner of Painless Pregnancy, shares her secret to success in turning a company that began as a side hustle into a thriving business with 25 employees, most of whom are full-time. You might be surprised at how simple it was. Listen in to find her secrets to success. Hello, friends. This is Lynn Schulte, and you are listening to the Birth Healing Summit podcast. We are here for meaningful conversations that will transform the way you work with pregnant and postpartum clients. Whether it is a new perspective, tool, or technique, you'll be able to implement it into your practice today. I invite you to sit back, listen with an open mind, and grab the golden nugget today's guest has to offer. Now let's get started. Welcome to this episode, everybody. I am just beyond thrilled to be able to share this interview with you. I have Kathleen Vigo with us here, and Kathleen is a physical therapist down in South Florida. Hi, Kathleen. Thanks so much for being here on this podcast. Kathleen and Kat reached out to me in, I don't know if it was 2017 or 18, but I came and taught down in South Florida. Kat hosted one of my courses down in South Florida. I came down there twice, right? I did pregnancy and then postpartum.
Oh, you've been here 4 times. By
Yes,
now, you've been here 4 times.
Well, yeah. You've been a big fan and brought me down there lots. So, but it was back in 2008.
I think I'm your biggest fan, Lynn. What to say?
What was that?
I said, I think I'm your biggest fan. I think it's safe to say that I'm your biggest fan. Yes, we can. That can be my main title. Number one fan.
You're so sweet. Oh my goodness. Well, I have to say, I'm a big fan of yours, Kat, because of what you have transformed into in this 6-year journey since we met back in 2018. And that's the reason I wanted to have you on this podcast was because Kathleen she was working at a hospital when she first brought me down there to teach my postpartum course. And I think at that time you were seeing patients on the side, weren't you? Weren't you doing a side hustle of your concierge PT at that time?
Yes. Oh, yeah. So by the time you came, I was very pregnant with Mariella. Yeah. So I had been doing painless pregnancy for just about a year at that point. Yes.
Okay. So I was
still working full time.
Okay. So Kathleen Vigo is down in Fort Lauderdale, South Florida, and she is the owner of Painless Pregnancy. And when I first met her, she was working full-time in the hospital and had a side gig of seeing patients in their home doing a concierge physical therapy service. And okay, so that was back in 2018. Now, everybody, what is this, 5 years later? You now tell us, where are you at now, Kath?
Yeah, so we are taking over South Florida. We have, so we just did a new wave of hires. So we have around 20 doctors of physical therapy who are serving moms in the comfort of their own homes. So from West Palm Beach through South Miami, like into Homestead. And we are growing like crazy. We have a full team of like a virtual admin staff of about 6 people and a bookkeeper. And then we do have a digital marketing company that we partner with. So basically every 2 weeks I sign off on about 25 paychecks is really where we've gotten to.
Wow.
Yeah, so grown has been amazing. And whenever I feel stressed out about my life, I just open up the staff schedule and I'm like, look at all these women getting care in the comfort of their own home. Like, we're doing something right. They're being taken care of. So
absolutely.
Something's changed.
I want to ask you, how did you get here? How did you go from doing a part-time gig to now having almost 20 physical therapists working for you? It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And also, like, most of them, vast majority of them are full-time. We used to have, a decent amount of people who were doing 1 day, 2 days. But I think we have only 3 or 4 on staff who are not working 5 days a week, so, or like full time. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow. What is
yeah,
how many, do you have a sense of how many sessions does your
yeah,
company do on a weekly basis?
that would be a great number. I have looked at it, but not in the last few weeks, and I know it's grown, so I don't remember that number right
Yeah,
now.
but that's
Um,
amazing to think about
yeah,
that,
yeah,
right?
it is. It's so much fun. It's so
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
So what helped you to get here? What do you feel have been the
Yeah.
biggest
So
factors in your growth?
yeah, for sure. I would say there's a couple. The first one is the sales component. Then I would say marketing is huge, and then the wellness component. So I would say of all the things we've done, those three have been the most impactful. Um, I've shared with your audience before how my brother helped me out early on. He realized that I did not have a good sales process. I didn't have one at all. So he helped me to understand that I had to take control of the phone call, that I had to walk these potential clients through a path of where they're at now, what I can do, and where they could be. And so that sales process was huge, but he also taught me about the importance of follow-up. So to document everyone who's called, what the conversation was like, to schedule a phone call. Like if she said, oh, let me think about it, talk to my husband, I had a certain thing I would say. And then before I hung up, are you good for us to talk tomorrow morning, or would you rather push it off to Tuesday afternoon? So creating that urgency with the follow-up, and really keeping in contact with anyone who's reached out to us until they say, please stop calling me. I am not going to move forward with you. um, so yeah, that persistence in that sales cycle is huge.
Yeah. And so now you said you had like 5 to 6 admin people. Are they doing all that sales process for you then?
Yes. So we have 2 to 3 who are like front desk. So like patient care coordinators who answer the phone, transfer the call to the therapist, and then receive the call back to do the onboarding and scheduling. And then we have 2, and then soon to be 3 physical therapists who take the screening calls.
Oh,
So they
okay.
do the clinical component. Yeah. So they screen them. So they make sure, they're not having kidney stones or any emergency where it's like, oh, this isn't physical therapy. We screen them for like, have you been to a doctor lately? Do you
Yeah.
have an OB following you? Basics. And then they do the sales part and then refer back. When they're not actively on a call, yes, they have a huge database of people who have reached out, and they'll call, text, and email consistently. We try to we say touch, like you touch the lead at least 2 or 3 times a week. And so, there's definitely weeks where we're like, are we just dropping nothingness out into the world because nobody's writing back? It's like, people are saying no left and right. And then you get this one mom who's practically in tears, and she's like, thank you so much for persisting with me.
Hmm.
I do have a problem. My life is crazy. I'm not taking care of myself. I'm going to schedule my eval next week. And
Yeah.
it's like, we've been talking to this woman for 3 months. Three
Yeah.
months. We've been like, is it working? Is it not working? And, in our world with the population that we serve, that's everything.
Yeah.
We know that our clientele do not speak up for themselves. They don't persist for their own care. So when we
Right.
do it for them, it means the world.
I think that is so important for us as therapists to remember that,
Yeah.
because I think none of us like the idea of sales, right? And none of us want to think that we are bugging
Yes.
someone. But when you think
Absolutely.
about these women out there that are, dealing with this newborn infant and trying to figure out life, and, and they're
Yeah.
in pain and they're suffering, but yet it's like they're drowning just trying to
Yeah.
keep this kid alive, right? That constant
100%.
touch
100%.
point can be a lifeline for some of these people. And so, like I love how you say that we just keep touch pointing and, touching into these
Uh-huh.
people until they say, stop calling me.
Yep.
So,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
that
And
that
they
is,
do. Sometimes they do. And you're like, great, thank you for telling me. You're off the
yeah,
list.
yes, yes, we
On
will
to
move
people who
on.
are interested. Yeah.
Yeah, but how long,
Yeah.
like you said, that person for 3 months, you've been reaching out to her, and then finally she's like, "Okay." But that's the importance of that follow-up and following through and the hustle of it, Kat. Like, you didn't get to where you are today by being passive in your business. And
Right. Right. Yeah.
I mean, you have got to put the effort and the energy out into making this happen. And so I appreciate hearing how you are constantly following up with these clients. And we as therapists need to get out of that mindset that we're bugging people,
Right.
that
Right.
we're actually just offering them a service, offering them another chance to say yes to themselves.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the work that you taught me so beautifully encompasses this, it almost seems like a dichotomous concept, but it's really symbiotic in that it's all about you, the therapist, and it's completely not about you. Like I don't know, I feel like you would
Say
understand that
more
because
about
it's like,
that. I do, but say more
yeah,
about
yes. So guys, what Lynn has taught me, one of the many things, is that you do have to do your own work. So you have to do your own energetic work, your own health, your own mental well-being, your own physical well-being, so that you can get out of your own way when you serve these women. Like, she uses phrases like you are a channel for their healing. Like, not to the point where you're responsible for their healing, but you can be an open vessel to help them get to a place where our physical therapy and their own ability to heal themselves blends beautifully.
Mm.
If I was thinking how uncomfortable I am to make another phone call, to send another text that's going to be ghosted, to put myself out there so that people can say no or hang up on me. If I was worried about how uncomfortable I was during that, I would not have reached a fraction of the women that we have served now.
Yeah.
And then from a scaling perspective, I would not have been able to train the people who work with me to do the same. Like, when we have our morning huddle, I get to say stuff, which apparently I get to take credit for now, which is actually all you. But I say stuff like, picture them before you send that text. Like, just read through their history, think about what this mom might be dealing with right now, take a breath, have a nice thought for her, and then send that text, or before you call, go through this mental process, like really be in it, even though it's a text message, like who, what, but yes, take a moment, breathe, and send it out.
And that truly, our attitude and our intention
Yes.
really comes through in everything that we do. That email, that text, that phone call, that touch. There
Yep.
are hands on their body. It's so
Mm-hmm.
critical that our attitude and our intention are in line with their best good. And,
Yes.
I think another key piece is really taking care of ourselves as a therapist to make sure that we are in the space to be able to serve. And when we're not,
Mm-hmm.
we need to figure out ways to fill ourselves up, to take care of ourselves. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And if I could touch on that for just a second, because I know we do use the word hustle, and, and I very much identify with that. Um, I would say that I went through a strong season of hustle where I was just like, go, go, go. And I would obsess over all the webinars to learn. I would obsess over all the patients who agreed to work with me so I could serve them best. Um, and I would say, from a confession standpoint, that I have gone through phases where I have not filled my cup. I have not taken care of myself. And it can be confusing, right? Because you're like, no, I have this calling in life. I know I have to put in a lot of work. I have to put in a lot of time. This isn't like, oh, I'm going to go get my hair done at 2 o'clock on a Thursday. Like, that's not where I'm at right now in my life. That's okay. But you will not be successful in the hustle if you don't at least do the basics for yourself. Like, yes, you're probably not taking a week off every other month, but you should take a vacation.
Mm.
You should take a vacation, because I did not for an embarrassingly long time. I had my bookkeeper tell me I needed to take a vacation. I had my very first patient care coordinator be like, Kat, take a day off. Like, what are you doing? And this is years and years into it. So find what your hustle is and honor it, because you should work hard. If you want to start something big, you have to work hard. Like, I'm sure, Lynn, when you started doing your content for your courses, that was not an easy season. You were
Oh,
probably researching, reading, creating, and then review. Like, it's a lot. It's
good.
a lot.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So work hard, figure out what your max is, and max out every day, but not to the extent where you're not sleeping or taking vacation, or like really have an agreement with yourself as to what that should look like.
Yeah.
I hope that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have definitely found much greater balance today than I did in the beginning. And so,
Yep.
it's a learning process, everyone. Just give yourself some slack. But if you can take in Kat's words here and really do find that balance, I find that the more time I take off, the more creative I become.
Big
And
time. Yeah.
right. So
Mhm.
if you are constantly in the grind and constantly working, there's no room for that creativity to come in to help guide you into making it
Yep.
easier, to making it work better. And I have to admit, Kat, I am constantly working on myself. I've worked with coaches, healers. I just had a business clearing, like the work that we do, especially this deeper healing work that I know you and your colleagues do, it's a lot
Yeah.
for us. And so really clearing out the ourselves and our energy can really help, lighten the load. And so
Yeah. Yeah.
I totally, totally agree with that. Now, so that hustle part, or that really following up and making sure that we're really trying to reach and serve everyone who has expressed even the tiniest bit of interest in our work, is so important.
Mhm.
I think another big component to your success is really not looking at your services as just physical therapy, that you've really embraced more this
Yep.
wellness aspect. Can you tell us more about the wellness piece and what that
Yeah.
looks
Absolutely. Um, yeah, because you're correct. That is, I would account that for easily 50% of our revenue every year, at least the last 2 or 3 years. Um, so this is something that my clients taught me. I
like?
was coming out of, like you said, hospital setting. I did largely outpatient. So it was like you get 4 sessions, you get 6 sessions. As soon as you can walk from your bedroom to the bathroom with a rolling walker and you don't have a fall risk, you're out, you're done, cut them off. And so when I started doing concierge, and these women were essentially like asking me to continue to come and continue to show up, I was a little confused. And what does that look like? Are we going to work out together? Am I a massage therapist? What is this?
Well,
And so to really train into that wellness component, there's a few things that I had to do. So one, we're very head to toe. So even though, it's pelvic floor based or abdominal wall concerns, it is literally like almost all of our sessions start with your neurological calming, with your basic like head and neck, shoulder PT work,
mhm,
because rib cage is open, you can't really bring your ribs down if your abs are separated, all the things, right?
yeah,
And so they see from the get-go that this isn't just, okay, we're going to look at your pelvic floor when your pants are dry and your sex is not painful, we're done.
yeah,
Instead, they see, oh, this woman shows up to my house every week and takes care of my body. She'll listen to my concerns and she focuses on my problem points, but my whole body feels better when I leave. So then at visit 4, when you show up and she's like, you know what, my shoulder, like I was holding the baby forever the other day. And you're like, oh, let's incorporate your shoulder today and we'll continue to work on the other things. They start to stack up the value. The other thing we incorporate with wellness is like your mind, body, soul, or overall wellness. So we ask questions like, are you scheduling a little white space in your day? Like, do you have a meditation practice, a prayer practice? Can you sit outside and stare at a bug for 1 minute without worrying about the kids? So like giving them that reminder for mental health, for physical health. Who doesn't need to be reminded? Are you drinking enough water? Are you sleeping enough? No? Okay, let's find a practical solution to you getting 1 more hour of sleep this week, 30 more minutes a night, whatever it is. They'll be like, oh yeah, but I have twins and these are all the reasons why I can't sleep. And you're like, I received those reasons why you can't sleep. I'm confident there's a solution in there and we're going to figure it out. So you're like always surrounding all the components that we know as physical therapists lead up to better musculoskeletal health, drier pants, all the things, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So I love what you were talking about with the neurological calming. If I could just interject here that I just
Yes.
I'm revamping the advanced course that I taught you guys in that 4-day format, because I just felt like it's
Yeah.
not supportive enough to helping people to really embody that material. And so what I've done
Sure.
is I've taken out all the mechanical, all the techniques part of it that was the first day of that course, and I put
Yeah.
it online. And so that's coming,
Oh,
that's
great.
out. Yeah, so that's out. And so that's the calming of the nervous system, the rebalancing of the diaphragms, the kidney work, like all the things that Kat was just talking about, helping someone to calm down their body. That's all available in an online advanced postpartum techniques course. So I'm excited to be able to have that out there. There's also a few new techniques added to that as well. So I did a sacral scoop, the tailbone, a couple other techniques as well. So I'm excited to be able to offer that to everybody. And then this fall, I'm going to be planning more of a month-long kind of journey, couple of months long journey with the rest of the advanced work that will be a deeper dive to really allow people to embody the work better and being able to incorporate it into their practice. So that's coming this fall. I'm in the process of developing that right now. So thank you for mentioning those
Yay. Ooh,
things,
how
Kat. I appreciate
exciting.
that.
Heck
So,
yeah.
so what
Ooh,
would you
sign me up.
say? What would you say to those therapists listening in here who are, we're all physical therapists, or even, I guess, massage therapists have it a little bit easier because they do return on a regular basis for more maintenance kind of stuff. But what would you say is the biggest
Mhm.
like mindset shift for you to shift from that I'm a physical therapist, I'm going to address the problem and be done, to I'm supporting this whole person for really the rest of their life if they allow you to?
Yep. If they allow you to. Yeah, that's a great question. I do think it is a mindset shift. So I would say the one thing that comes to my mind first is that any client can become a long-term client. So I used to have these like, oh, well, this girl will probably be long-term because her car looks like this, or her chandelier is so nice, or she has such a fixation on her physical health, or she has so many problems, or I would have these reasons why I would offer wellness.
Mhm.
And God bless America, you can live in a 1-bedroom apartment and dedicate $500 a month to your physical health. You can have a great workout regimen, you can sleep well, and you could still want physical therapy twice a month. Like, there's really no category of person who's going to say, oh no, I never have physical problems and I always feel amazing and I never need anyone to help me with that. Zero people, especially if you're working with moms and pregnant and postpartum women,
Yeah.
zero of those people are going to be like, I got it all together.
Yeah. Yeah. So do
No.
you
So
do
you
you see
offer it.
yeah, do you see people once a month, twice a month? Does it vary? Um how
Yeah,
often are
it
you seeing?
varies.
It varies. Okay. And so how
Yeah.
do
So
you present that? How do you present that to your clients?
yeah, that's a great question. So for the ones that the therapists are still seeing that I've been seeing for 5 years, a lot of them do once a week and it's just become part of their life. The way we've been approaching it lately with the newer therapists and so I can back up for just a second. We do offer packages.
Okay.
So The front desk, the virtual front desk gets them sold on the evaluation. At the evaluation, the therapist who's there presents the 2 packages. Would you like the 6 visit or the 10 visit? And we have a process and a script for that.
Okay.
When the package starts to get to where you have 1 or 2 visits left, we start to introduce the membership model.
Okay.
And so this is another option. They can buy another package, and many of them have. I mean, we have women who've bought 10 packages of 10 visits.
Right.
But the membership model is presented such that you've come so far, you're making so many gains, and it would be amazing for you to put an anchor in your wellness. We've got this relationship, we're all set up. You can do another package, but we do offer this membership where you can do 1 or 2 times a month. And it's still a discounted rate, but you're not putting all that money up front for the package. It's a discounted rate, not as much as the package, but not as much as your individual visits. And that way we know that you're not going to drift far from where you've come, from where you've worked so hard to come, right?
Love that.
And so that's really what we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
beautiful. Yeah. It's different from that insurance mindset, right? It's not like, oh, your uterus is going to fall out of your vagina if you don't come in, or you're going to start having back pain again, or like there's no fear, there's no medical necessity. It's just you and your body deserve this. Would you agree? Yeah. You've worked hard to get here. Would you agree? Yeah. It only makes sense to keep going. It only makes sense to have some component of accountability, physical body work.
Yeah.
As you move forward.
That's amazing. I love that. And how many of your therapists do you feel do that? Like, is it 50% of them continue on with the membership service, or is it 100%? What do you find? Do you know that number?
Yeah, that's a great question. So specifically with the membership, we actually just rolled this out, I think 2 months ago. Okay. So we don't have a ton of data on that. What we do know is that, so prior to doing the memberships, we have this expectation where you're reaching out to clients at a certain rate, with messages of, just the friendly, hey, how are you doing? The offer, all those things, reasons why they could be seen again. So yeah, the therapists have been amazing in retaining clients and getting them, like the transition from eval to package is huge. I think we're at like 85% with that. And then second packages was really great too. I want to say 40%. I don't know. Luli helps out a lot with the numbers. So she's got more of that mind. I'm just like this free floating creative who likes to
like me
talk. Yeah, like there's numbers involved and they're important. Remember them. Yeah. So yes, it's been very successful. And like I said, I think 8 of the therapists that are working with me now are seeing patients that I used to see regularly. So it just keeps branching out from there.
Well, and that's the reason that you need more and more therapists coming on board, is because those therapists are seeing the same people long-term forever. So that's amazing. Yeah. That is amazing.
Right? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So way cool. Way cool. So is there any other tidbit or thing that you felt really helped you to be as successful as you are today?
Yeah. I would follow up with that wellness thing. I'd say offer wellness to every single person, sell it, don't downplay it. You don't want to be like, oh, well, if you want, it'd be like, no, this is amazing. This is a phenomenal service. Women have asked for it. That's why we created it. And it's so successful. I would also say if you have some people listening who are earlier on in their business adventure, I would say delegate. So don't be afraid to hire. You can hire someone for 5 hours a week, 2 hours a week to start. And if you truly feel like you can't afford to hire someone, create another email address, info@Painless Pregnancy, and have a perception that you have people working with you for you. And I would also encourage, don't be afraid to spend money. Like I remember when I started following you and I was like, oh, this is my girl. I got to call her. I got to get her here. There's fear when you go to do a specialized class and you're like, oh, this is a lot of money. Are you kidding me? Like, this is the best investment I've ever made. And then you just keep going. What's the next best investment? Yes, maybe you're pulling from money that you kind of don't have right now, but if you are all in, it's going to keep returning and returning and returning and then exploding. Like, you can't be afraid to spend money. You can't.
Love that. I love that, especially when it comes to your learning and your growing.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the key piece, is that we can only grow our businesses to the extent that we are
Yep.
selves growing. Right.
You're exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Which is
so,
why you have to delegate. You have to get other things off your plate so
yep.
that you can continue not only to work on yourself, but to do your highest and best calling work.
Yes.
I shouldn't be answering phones anymore. I did that for like 4 years, Lynn. I literally was like, nobody else knows all the midwives like I do. Nobody else knows all the referral resources. I'm the one who has to talk to the new mom. That's not true. Like, Desiree answers phones now. She's better than I ever was. So it's like, get out of your own way, get
Well,
over yourself,
and
and don't get in your
sometimes,
own way of growth.
yeah, but a lot of times we can't see our own issues for ourselves. It does
Yeah.
sometimes take that coach or getting someone who
Yep.
can see things better than you can to help guide us,
Mhm.
to show us the light, really, right? Because we're just stuck in our
A
ways,
hun-
stuck in our ways.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I mean, I would say it's worth saying too. Like, I've had the blessing of working with like one of my closest friends, Luli. She joined in 2020 and she started the Miami branch. And there's something so beneficial. Like, you can have a therapist or a coach that you're talking to on the phone and you can share with them things and they can be like, oh, well, I think you should do this. But like having Luli with me week in and week out and partnering the way she could see what I was doing when I didn't realize things that I was doing. You know what I mean? So,
yes,
I
yeah,
mean, she had helpful stuff like, hey, girl, I think we should be on Instagram. I think we should do this, like, practical recommendations, but also like for her to see some of my work processes and the patient experience, the way she could add value to that was integral. Like, that's huge. So if you can really let someone in and let them see stuff that might not want input on, but they can improve you at other levels. And so you don't know what you don't see. So I would also say let someone in a big way. Like, that's really valuable.
it's about getting that support, right? It's about
Mhm.
receiving support from someone else.
Yeah.
And as we know, that's probably the most challenging aspect for a lot of women out there,
Yeah.
is being able to open yourself up to receive that support. So,
Yeah.
wow, this is great. This is great, Kat. Thank you so much. And
Yeah.
I can't thank you enough. Kat has brought me down to South Florida 4 times now.
Yeah.
And it's just been absolutely amazing. I think that one of your Florida courses was like the largest course I've ever taught to.
I think it was the first one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really early on and it was just so fun and so amazing. So I'm so grateful to you for helping to get this work out into the world in a bigger way. So thank you for all that you're doing and for all the therapists that you're blessing and all those moms that you're blessing. I absolutely love, every once in a while, Kat will send me a little text or a voice note that just happened, and she's just like, Lynn, just so you know, your work's getting out into the world. And it just makes me so, so happy. So thank you, Kat, for all that you're doing. And congratulations. Congratulations on all your growth and where you're at today. It has been amazing to watch. So thank you. Everybody, I hope you've listened in today and you got the idea that we need to follow up. Please don't look at it bugging someone, but follow up with all your leads and keep asking them. It's an opportunity for them to say yes to themselves. And then let us continue to support our clients into wellness and keeping them there so that we don't have to just triage these big incidences and issues in their lives. Like, let's keep them away from those issues by supporting them continuously and get the support and the training that you need to help yourself grow and to help your business grow. So thank you, Kat, so much for sharing
Yeah.
this with us today. I'm so grateful. And
Oh,
thank Such a joy to see you in person and to hear you again. So, thank you everybody for listening in. And here's to more beautiful, smoother births and faster recoveries. We'll see you all in the next episode. Take care, everybody. Bye bye. Today's podcast was brought to you by the Institute for Birth Healing. To discover more, visit instituteforbirthhealing.com. To claim $50 off of any online course, use coupon code PODCAST50 at checkout. Till next time, I'm Lynn Schulte, founder of the Institute for Birth Healing.